So today we're going to cover testing the alternator. We will need a voltmeter and we will need a car. First step, start the car, and we're going to measure charging system voltage. So set your voltmeter to 20 amp or 20 volts DC if you have a manual ranging meter like this one. Or if you have an auto ranging meter, just set it to DC volts. We then are going to attach the black lead and the red lead to the battery. The red lead of the voltmeter will go to the battery positive, and the black lead of the voltmeter will go to the battery negative, and then we will read the voltage. In this case, we are reading 14.8 volts, which is within the acceptable range. So the range should be anywhere from 13.4 to 15 volts. As long as it's within that range, then we'll go ahead and make the second measurement. The next measurement we're going to make is voltage drop of the positive side. So we're measuring the resistance or the voltage loss between the battery post and the battery cable itself. So you're going to place one lead on the battery cable, and you're going to place the second lead on the battery post itself, and we should get less than 0.3 volts or 300 millivolts, and in this case it reads 0, which is perfect. We're going to repeat the same test on the negative side. We'll place the negative lead on the battery post, the positive lead on the battery cable, and we'll read the measurement. And in this case, it reads 0 as well. Anything more than 0.3 or 300 millivolts, we'll need to remove the terminal and clean the connection between the post and the terminal itself. The next test we're going to do is checking voltage drop of the alternator cable. So we're going to place the red lead on the battery positive terminal, and we will place the black lead on the large lug or the large cable connection of the alternator itself. All right, and then we're going to read our meter. The same rule applies, 0.3 volts or 300 millivolts, and we can see that we're reading 0.04 volts or 40 millivolts, so that indicates that we are in good condition. The next step is to check the ground side. So we're just going to take our negative lead and place it anywhere on the case of the alternator. Make sure it doesn't come in contact with the exhaust, either the lead or your hand. Neither one of those would be good. And then we're going to take and place the positive lead on the negative battery cable, like so. All right, so we have one attached to the negative post, and we have one attached to the alternator case. And we're going to read the voltage, and it should be less than 0.1 volts or 100 millivolts. And in this case, we can see that we have 0.01 volts or 10 millivolts. So that is within the correct range. The last step is to measure AC ripple voltage. The AC ripple voltage tests the diodes in the alternator. So we will place the red lead on the battery positive. We will place the black lead on battery negative. We will select AC voltage, 2 volts if you have a manual ranging meter, or just AC volts if you have a auto ranging meter. And we're looking for less than 0.5 volts. And in this case, we have 0.34, 0.4, so we're just underneath the range. All right. Newer cars have a much leaner tolerance. They are at 50 millivolts or 0.05 volts. So older cars, we can get away with a half a volt of AC. Newer cars, we only can get away with 0.05 volts AC ripple. So here's a chart giving you the results and the interpretation. So we have engine running voltage 13.4 to 15.0. Voltage drop positive side, no more than 0.3 volts or 300 volts. Voltage drop negative side, same as the positive. Voltage drop across the battery positive, 0.3. And then our AC ripple, and it's for the newer cars, 0.05 or 50 millivolts. If you have an older car, something made in the early 2010, 2015 and earlier, then we can go with 0.5 volts. So this covers how to do the alternator test using a voltmeter.